Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Athabasca County Regular County Council meeting on May 14th. I'd like to call this. We'll start that again. That's no problem. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our regular County Council, Athabasca County Regular County Council meeting. Thursday, May 14th. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 9:30. And I'll start with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge Athabasca County is located on First Nations Treaty 6 and Treaty 8 traditional territory. We respect and honor all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples' connection to these lands, their history, language, and culture. We do have a few away today, so I would like to pass along regrets from Councillors Staholic and Kapitaniak, and I'm not sure if Councillor Hall will be here shortly. So we are at the stage of the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes? I know of one. It's an enclosed item. So if we could change 12.6 to be 12.7 and then add 12.6, section 29, bracket 1, ATI, advice from officials, please. Okay. And are there any other additions, deletions, or changes anyone would like to make? Okay. As amended. All right. Before we go to that motion, what from Councillor Stasiak, we'll go around the table to determine which items council would like to discuss. What I know of course, is what we're on now, 2.1, 5.1, 7.1, 7.5, 7.6, 7.8, 7.10, 7.11, and 8.2, as well as all closed session items 12.1 through 12.7. Are there any others that councillors would like to discuss? I can run through those again if you like. Okay, I'm going to run through those again, folks, and then if you pick any up, let me know. 2.1, 5.1, 7.1, 7.5, 7.6, 7.8, 7.10, 7.11, 8.2, and all of 12 closed session items 12.1 through 12.7. Councillor Gallagher.
What about 8.1, just in case anyone has anything to add to events?
8.1 for sure. Okay. Go ahead, please, Councillor Stasiak.
Just a quick question. I was looking at 7.2. Is that going to require a motion from council?
If we choose not to discuss it, we'll go with the recommended motion.
Okay. Yeah, I forget if it was what the recommendation was.
It would be to approve.
Okay, yeah, we're good then. Yeah,
okay.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, are we good to go, Deputy Minns? Yeah.
7.3.
7.3. Okay. All righty. So with that, Councillor Stasiak would like to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? So I believe we have 6-0. Thank you. Right, so we'll just move right into item 5.1 on page 12 of your agenda package. This is the draft policy 3246, level of service for recreation and open spaces, the draft policy 6220, groundskeeping assistance grant policy, and updates for policy 3242. Would administration like to start?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we made some changes based on discussion at Committee of the Whole on April 21st. Some of the items that I've added in for discussion was we assumed that the $540 per acre was an assumption that someone was mowing it 10 times over the season. As requested, I provided a table with the location, area, annual grant amount, the owner or leasee, and if the county currently mows that area or not. Just to note that the acres is not necessarily the entire lot, as many are partially forested and things like that. So the mowing area is based on administration experience, mowing most of these areas. If any of the acre amounts were in red in the attached table, they were estimated because we haven't mowed them in any recent years. Therefore, like the amounts in red would probably need to be confirmed by site visits about how much would need to be mowed there. There was a question raised about cemeteries and if they weren't a nonprofit, would they be neglected and things like that. So it was added to that grant policy that for the cemeteries, they could either be registered nonprofits or caretakers of registered cemeteries, and registered cemeteries have identification numbers through the province. And then there was also a question raised about Mystic Meadows being included. And they are listed as a nonprofit. So if there's common area that includes recreation items, and we are aware that there is a playground and a cook shack. So we estimated the area there that they could potentially apply for to be 1.4 acres. Yeah, if there's any questions.
Awesome, thank you. Would anybody like to begin, please, Councillor Stasiak?
Thank you, through the chair. Can I get some clarity on the contract that was sent out? I got a response from CAO Beck about that. There was some confusion that some of the cemeteries were asked to sign a contract with accepting liability insurance and things like that. And so just to kind of clarify that.
Yeah, Madam Chair, that was not the operations section. That came from the planning section, land, and just a miscommunication. They thought that that one was ready to go with a revised lease to 4 different cemetery groups, and it was not ready to go. Just a miscommunication. So we've followed up with a letter saying that it's under review and they don't have to sign that lease.
Awesome. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Councillor Chamser.
I do have a question about small hamlets, once again, Atmore on the inside lane, because I believe that the right of way for Alberta Transportation is 90 feet. If the inside of the hamlet of Atmore would be mowed this year.
So like you said, anything within the province's right of way won't be mowed. If there is any portion of it that isn't within the province's right of way, that would fall to the ag mowers.
So it's in the big mowing program.
Accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I wasn't here for the committee of the whole meeting. So I did go back and watch it, and I had a few concerns for sure. I think some of them have been alleviated, and I just wanted to say thank you very much. I know this takes a lot of work and effort to go into it, and it's a big job. However, I'm struggling with it. We don't, as you mentioned in the committee of the whole, it's not going to be a 2-tiered system. It'd be one or done, basically. So if there are groups that aren't able to have the equipment, for number one, there's quite a few groups that I know of that don't have any equipment whatsoever that would be able to take on this. And the pricing that I'm seeing for the annual grant definitely would not cover having a contractor come out for 10 times for sure a year. So I'm really concerned about that. And I'm struggling with this to go forward with this right at this time. It seems that our level of service that we have as a council prior to this council mentioned that, how important it was that we have our county groomed and that we look after it and we take pride in it. And I worry that this type of level of service, as we hear time and time again, what do we get for our taxes? What do we get for our taxes? That we're now taking this amount of, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really not a savings per month per se, because what we would put in the budget to do the mowing ourselves compared to what we would put in the budget for the grant is really not much of a savings. And then we end up with a huge administrative task to administer the grants, administer the reporting, administer, all of those types of things, not to mention what it does to the groups. So I looked into, for example, I'd heard, of course, how important it is to bring community together. I also know how very difficult it is to find volunteers and to get people together on community groups. And it's becoming more and more difficult, and more groups are having to fold because it's too difficult even to get an executive together. So then I looked also further into what those groups would need for insurance, especially if you're looking at youth to try and attract the youth to take on these jobs where we already hire seasonal. So I'm thinking if we're lessening our amount of work that will have less seasonal. So that doesn't help our employment front for the age 15 to 24 that we're already seeing a crisis in. But the insurance really struck out for me as well. So when I looked into it for a nonprofit organization hiring youth to mow grass in a cemetery, and I'll just leave it to the cemeteries in Alberta, the liability is huge and requires a combination of strict adherence to occupational health and safety regulations. The proper insurance needs to be in place and employment standard compliance needs to happen as well. So there's 4 different insurances that they would look at that they would recommend that are crucial to obtain, which is commercial general liability insurance, abuse liability coverage, directors and officers insurance, and voluntary accident insurance. So that freaked me out because of the cost that comes with. There also would be requirement for mandatory workers' compensation board coverage if the youth are paid employees. And if they're considered to come out on a schedule, they would be considered employees. There is WCB serves as a no-fault insurance, of course, protecting the employer from lawsuits arising from workplace injuries, as we know. And even if they're volunteers, the organization can choose to opt into WCB to receive the same protection from lawsuits, which for me would be extremely important because you wouldn't want to go there. Ages 12 to 14, youth employment rules in Alberta differ based on the age, and 12 to 14, you require written parental and guardian consent, and they can only perform light work, nothing that will put them in danger to their health, which, you know, as we all know, you can end up with injuries with mowing and whippersnipping. Ages 15 to 17 may be employed in most types without a permit, but you still require safety training, hazard assessments, supervision, scope of duties, a contract, all of these things. And I just went, this is really creating an onerous amount of work on community groups who just really want to see that our cemeteries are looked after and our mowing is done. And we seem to be able to do it. I know we included last term a second mowing crew, so we could make sure that we were up and running and that we could get these things done. So for me, I get building community is a way to go, only if it's realistic. And right now, I don't see that I think we're putting a lot of pain onto our community groups. Councillor Chisholm?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think also, like when we look at the costs that admin got to us, I don't think those are realistic costs at all. And lots of these probably don't even have the equipment to start. So I honestly, yeah, with the information that came forward, it kind of opened up my eyes as to a lot of the complaints is our communities don't get enough bang for their buck. And I think taking this away is going to cost them more. And I just don't think at this point in time, that's where we should be headed. So I'm not really for what's been proposed.
Okay. And that's the groundskeeping assistance grant, because I know we've kind of jumped in a little bit further, but that's 6220, the policy. I agree. I'm not quite there yet. I could see I would be in favor if we had a situation where there were groups who were wanting to opt into a grant situation. And you know, that's great. But being an all in or none, it just for me was really concerning, especially considering what the grant would be paying out. And I know just for getting somebody to come to a private yard to do mowing for a senior that's got 2 or 3 acres, they're looking at $600 to $700 a mow. So, you know, it's not like we're in an urban setting where we can go close, you know, everybody's within a couple of miles of each other. We're talking miles all across the county, and to find a contractor to come in and do that where it would fit into this grant, I don't think would be possible. So I'm also concerned. Councillor Chisholm.
I just want to add to that. I have a contract out in the community as well, and insurance and liability, all that stuff in WCB is very costly. So to have a small community that depends on volunteers and the grant amount that they would get, honestly, is not going to is not going to be able to provide them with the same service.
I agree. Counselor Chanzik?
Yeah, looking, I mean, I just did a quick look in legal land descriptions, so on and so forth. I'm looking at about 11 of these community places, and yeah, the cost of insurance, WCB, I just really don't feel it's feasible.
Thank you. Okay. Counselor Stasiak?
Thank you. So by not going this route, what is the suggestion of an alternative,
We stay status quo.
which is?
We have our mowing crews, we hire our summer students.
Okay.
And they continue. I would also recommend that better supervision, hopefully could take place because there were complaints last year of a few issues in that direction, but we have, for years and years and years, the county has always taken this on
Okay.
and looked after it. And it's been a very valued level of service that people appreciate.
And so for those cemeteries, for an example, would be Rochester, where they have a volunteer group that goes on a monthly basis and cuts the grass. How does that tie in? Would they be getting some sort of funding to help them, or would they not do that anymore and the county would go in there and cut that? Or
Well,
what's
there
your
is a
thought?
cemetery grant that we do offer. I believe it's $3,500 every 2 years. Now, I'm not sure if mowing is part of that eligibility. It's not. So it's not part of that eligibility. So again, unless we can make a change where people would wish to opt in on a grants format, I would be all for that.
Mhm.
But for those who are unable to and who can't, caretakers of some of these cemeteries, they don't have
Right.
the capability.
No, I understand that. I just, I don't, by going a different route and us cutting the grass is great. But some people maybe don't, or they go a little one level higher of quality, we'll call it, in lack of better terms, and they groom it like a park and everything else. And if they are exempt from any sort of support, I don't know how that would sit with those people. Like I'm sure they appreciate, all those places appreciate a little bit of money for help to buy string trimmer equipment or, whatever, fix new blades, whatever, right? So if there was some sort of a sponsorship or an offer of extra support, if that would work, that as it to coincide with us cutting grass, because we'd come with our own equipment to cut those that aren't a community group like that. So is there anything in place for that, something like that, where they would get support other than, you said that every second year though, but it's not,
Yeah, mowing does, I've just got the nod that no, mowing is not eligible for that.
right?
It'd be
So,
something, like I say, we would be able to look at and
Okay.
bring forward.
but we'd have to do that fairly soon because grass cutting season is upon us now, right?
So how has Rochester always been doing it?
Yeah, they have a cemetery cleanup every month,
Mhm.
once a month, and everybody brings their own equipment. They've got a couple of mowers, well, one, they got stolen here, I guess, a couple of years ago, but and we helped them out with that.
Right.
But yeah, apparently it's on a monthly basis and the volunteers all go out there and they cut the grass and groom it and do everything else and they go home semi-happy and life is good. But I'd like to offer them, some appreciation of what they're doing there too at the same time. Because like to them, for us to be cutting grass in other cemeteries and they're doing it on their own, there'll come a time where they're going to say, well, why are we doing this if the county will come and do it?
Yeah.
Right. So just want to get some clarity on whether we can offer them some support to keep them enticed into.
Yeah,
to
and
do
I
it
get
that
that
way.
that would come probably in, depending on how we're handling this one today.
Okay.
A request for a decision could come forward and that could be looked at to try and determine, is there another option or another way to
Mhm.
offer assistance?
Okay.
Sorry, through the chair to admin, I have two questions. One being, have you heard any feedback from the user groups? Do they know about this? Are they aware? And good or bad feedback is question one.
Through the chair, no, we have not discussed this with any user groups. But yes, there are, as Councillor Stasiak said, that there are groups that don't currently get mowed by the county, but they have been included in the table for the total amounts there.
Okay, question number two, and it might be just because it's included with the hall or because the county has always just done it. I can't find the Richmond Park Cemetery listed under cemeteries unless I'm totally just missing it.
I'll have to get back to you. It could be called something else. It could be not potentially called the Richmond Park, but I'll.
Thank
get back to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, the sign is actually written in Ukrainian, so we just refer to it as Richmond Park Cemetery, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, go ahead, please, Deputy Reed Mintz.
Yeah, and I have to apologize too. I was not at the meeting when it was first discussed and everything. So if, my understanding, if we approve this policy, that means in 2027, we are not doing mowing any more cemeteries, private cemeteries. They'll have to go with the grant system.
Through the chair, yes, if that is what this policy states.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the difficult part is all of a sudden we're forcing these community groups to either take the grant or you're out of luck. You have to mow it yourself. So on that note, I think what we were trying to do, if I remember right, is we were trying to move a policy that would maybe attract these community groups to mow their own cemeteries. And trying to, you know, alleviate some of the work that Athabasca County does. And if that's what we're trying to do, honestly, the money isn't there to attract these people to do it. We need to either enhance that or people aren't gonna jump on this. Like there's a couple of cemeteries there that one is for like $162. That's not gonna work. That's not an attraction. I think the money's got to come up a little bit more. Maybe having public consultation with these user groups and saying, okay, what would you need to mow your own cemeteries? Like what do you feel you guys need for that? Maybe that's a good way to go first is have public consultation and say, ask the questions, I guess, to the user groups themselves. And that, because I know how much we spend on a cemetery south of town, privately, and yeah, it doesn't come close to this, so I think it'd be great being that this cemetery committee looks after the cemetery themselves and would jump on this money, but it doesn't come close to what actually is spent out there mowing that cemetery. So that's my point of view.
Don't appreciate that. And I guess just to add on to that, what the policy does say is administration shall annually recommend a suitable budget for the grant program, informing council the number of accepted organizations and corresponding acres of acknowledged green space. So that also puts a concern in as well, that eventually it would be where there isn't enough money, or there is, we're deciding, we're not going to do grants anymore. Everybody can just do their own. And that level of service, I don't want to see disappear. Councillor Chamzik.
Through the chair, I 100% agree, and I'm all for public engagement on this. Question for Mr. Mintz, would you like to see this come back to committee of whole in maybe June or July to see what kind of options we can come up with?
Sure. For more discussion on that, yeah.
Okay.
Before we go and we adopt a policy that all of a sudden hammers us down to saying, okay, you'll either do it this way or you won't get it done. That's a scary thought all of a sudden. It's like, because this Athabasca County's been, I've watched this service grow over many years, and it's been kind of like a star on the map or star somewhere that says, we help our community groups by doing this mowing, and that's where it started out, and then it just compounded. It just kept growing and growing, got to the point where back in COVID they knocked it down to one crew, and we had 2.5 crews run into this prior to try to keep up, and So it's a huge feather in our cap of Athabasca County, as far as I care, that we do this for our community, and I think we need to have more discussion before we, yeah, sure.
Thank you. Counselor Callahan?
So through the chair to admin, if you don't have an answer right now, that's fine. I'm just wondering if like the groundskeeping assistant grant could maybe then, as like another option, just throwing it out there, I might be showing my greenness, could maybe go towards more summer students or something if we decide not to put it on the community groups solely. Just thinking of other options, that's all. Yeah.
Well, and I agree. I think, you know, we, number one, we take pride in our community. We're helping our community groups, by doing this. You know, we're helping, you know, find positions for summer students who are having difficulty, as we all know is a problem, age 15 to 24. We've seen it all over the news, are having difficulty finding jobs. We have an excellent program. I would hate to see it, go to the wayside, especially without public engagement. In talking with a couple of groups, I know what the answer is already, and they're not happy. You know, we're trying to help community. So I like the fact that you would like to bring this back, possibly maybe give it some more time. July would be a good time to sit down and have another review of this and look at some different options of, you know, possibly a different type style of grant, for those who, you know, who are doing it themselves. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm also just wondering if it would be possible to maybe talk to some of these user groups and get like actual feedback from them, because I mean, my district might be like all gung ho for it, and you know, Lucille's may not, and just sort of get like some of that feedback and
Yeah.
you know, get an actual feeling, because I haven't heard anything in my area, so.
Okay, so how would we like to formulate a motion on this particular policy 6220? Go ahead, please, Councilor Thompson.
Not quite ready for a motion, but should we be directing administration to draft a letter to these user groups for feedback, or wait till that community or committee of the whole meeting is roundabout first?
Yeah, I think if we had more conversation about it before we reach out, I think if we kind of hammer it through and then we reach out, I think would be a better way to go, so that we're not putting the cart before the horse. Exactly. So possibly a motion would be to forward the policy 6220 for further discussion to the committee of the whole in July. Is that fair? So we'll start there. Councillor Chisholm?
I'll make that a motion.
Okay, Councillor Chisholm would like to make the motion that we forward policy 6220 to committee of the whole in July for further discussion. Okay, if we're all ready for that, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay, 6-0. If we could look at what was the level of service and for recreation and open spaces? Policy 3246. Yep, page 17. This one, I'm just double checking. This is a draft one as well, correct? Yes, this is a new one. Okay. So if we can look again, this is again, huge job. And thank you administration for looking at this. If you don't mind if I start to, on this one, a couple of things that I noticed was the length of time starting on page 19, from 14 to 21 days cycle times for mowing. That's for campgrounds, non-managed, sport courts, boat launch and day use areas, the welcome signs, municipal reserve wasn't even listed in there. I just felt the utilities, the tank loader, that kind of thing, fire halls, tax forfeitures, cemeteries, all 14 to 21 day cycle. And I thought, wow, we have a growing season that goes nuts in the early spring. It won't take very long for that to get out of hand. So I'm wondering, I was looking at a few other scenarios for this type of level of service. And one of them that stuck out for me, and I'll just throw it out there, was bi-weekly or as necessary to maintain a height of grass between 5 to 10 centimeters. And I like that because our, for example, our community standards discusses centimeters. when somebody's private lot is, I think goes past 20 centimeters, they're getting a visit. So I really like that centimeter aspect rather than 14 to 21 days. And of course, I'm talking to administration on what their cycle is, because I noticed there's others that are 10 to 14 days for large hamlets and that kind of thing. But it just felt the 14 to 21 was too long. And when it comes to the municipal reserve, it mentions in here that unless these lands fall into one or the other categories, which is contains a playground, they will be left in their natural condition. So that concerned me a little bit for a couple of reasons. A lot of these municipal reserves are also within subdivisions, heavily populated subdivisions. And one of the ones that I noticed in another level of service like this, it struck me because it said 3 times to mow in those areas, late spring, midsummer, and fall, or when there's a maximum height of grass at 15 centimeters. And the reason for that was weed control, which I know we've struggled with this last fall or this last summer, as well as fire safety. Grass fires go out of control pretty quick. And if these are left in their natural state, you end up with lots of dry grass, et cetera, et cetera. We know how quickly that can go out of control. So I would like to see a change in the municipal reserve aspect. We should be again, taking pride in our communities and making sure that they're groomed. And we have weed control there. Environmental reserve was the other one I noticed. Of course, most of that has to stay in natural condition, but one other item I found I liked was to be mowed once a season or only upon complaint, and that was for fire safety and noxious weeds. So I thought that was important to mention. I like the fact that there's walking trails that are listed in here. The only item that I did see is missing was weed control, is another aspect. So again, I would like to see something in there for complaint of noxious weeds, that be taken into consideration. Oh, and there was one other item that I noticed that to add, maybe we have that these standards are typically reviewed annually to ensure alignment with municipal budgetary capacity. I thought was important as well, so that we're always having a look and making sure that we're where we need to be. And other than that, I think I mentioned I was a little bit concerned about small hamlets, but I noticed they're in the road, the other policy there, policy 3242. But then that's my take on this one. Anyone else?
Just a question to the chair. Municipal reserves. What part of municipal reserves are you looking at? Like I know we have municipal reserves and ERs along some of the subdivisions and that honestly we can't even touch unless it comes to council. Is that the ones you're looking at, or?
Well, for example, I'll just touch on some of the subdivisions that are in Division 5, Athabasca Acres and those types of areas. They've had some issues where the county used to mow the municipal reserve and they stopped doing it. And so now they're quite concerned. They were trying to figure out how to get a group together to exactly do the same type of thing, take it on, but they haven't been successful. So the noxious weeds took over and we ended up having to go in and spray. So it would just be, again, one of those situations where I think when we're having these neighborhoods they have to look after their mowing. County should have to look after their property. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Councillor Chisholm?
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just have a question. I don't know who can answer it, and maybe I'm missing it. And maybe this is not even the time, but for subdivisions, I did have a few complaints in Division 3, but they said the county will come to just a certain point and then they won't continue on with the rest of the subdivision. Is that normal?
Assuming you're speaking, sorry, through the chair. I'm assuming you're referencing the roadside mowing.
ma'am.
So if people are mowing their ditches or we don't go over those. Or if they're too steep, obviously we don't. So I'd have to look at the subdivision and see what the concern was. We get a number of concerns in relation to mowing. Obviously, the reason it's in front of you is we haven't been able to meet the expectation. That's why there's a service level in front of you. Municipal reserves. If we're gonna do all the municipal reserves, I don't know, there's hundreds. So it would triple your current budget, but anyway, we just look for direction and go from there.
Yeah, I was gonna add, good points, Director Morton. This kind of represents what we the status quo a little bit. If council does want a different level, yeah, it's just more resources. No problem. We're okay with that, but as long as you know, and the MR lots, I think we need to bring you back a full map on all the MR parcels. We've got some of them that are totally forested. There's nothing to mow. So what would we do with them? Don't know. Good question. But that's the majority of them, actually. We don't have a pile that are actually parks. We have some, but we've got a lot of MR parcels and ER that is zero maintenance in the past. So if we're going beyond zero maintenance, it's a budget issue.
No, I appreciate that. And like you mentioned, the forested ones, of course, that would be different. The ones that have been previously mowed in the past that are within a neighborhood would be that are grass that, used to have people playing on them. They were simple parks. I would like to know how many there are. I don't think that there are a lot, but those ones have been brought to my attention. And I do have quite a few of those subdivisions in my division, and it's one of the biggest concerns that a lot of people have. And it's not only the noxious weeds, it is the fire safety as well of it. So that's in those particular areas. Totally get it. Forested areas would be different. Councillor Stasiak?
Thank you, through the chair. Can we work on a contingency fund and work on a complaint-based situation where if somebody realizes that there's weeds growing, tall grass, and they would like to have somebody look at it, then maybe there might only be a few that we'd have to deal with in the year, as opposed to making a policy that we'd have to do all of them. As CAO Beck has said, there's some that are forested and you can't get in there anyway. So based on just a complaint-based system, we might only be doing one or two extra, maybe, with a small contingency fund, so that we don't have to increase our budget exponentially in order to cover all of that. There might only be a few, like maybe up to the counselor to get the complaint and then forward it to your department and say, well, can you go take a look at this? And if it needs it, let's do it. If not, well, then it's fine.
Through the chair, I guess a couple of issues I would see with that. It's pretty hard to budget for that scenario. You don't know if you're getting 1 or 50. And you put your administration in a situation where we're picking winners and losers. We have nothing as a guideline or policy that directs our decision making. Typically, the decisions we make are based off policy or bylaws. So that's when we say yes or no or whatever, it's based off council's direction. If we get a lot of complaints that we don't respond to because it doesn't fall within our, I guess, purview, so I guess without having policies to back it up, it would make it difficult for us to say yes or no, right? Like if the requests come in that it's a forested MR and now they want to have a cleared area, am I going to go log it? If I don't have a policy,
Right.
if I don't have a policy that says, no, I'm not doing that, then I guess I'm going to log it. So anyway, that's.
I appreciate the explanation. It's different perspective now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, like you mentioned, as I think it says municipal reserves here, are designated under the MGA that can be used for a public park, recreation area, school board purposes, or to separate lands as a buffer, also known as a community reserve or community park reserve or public reserve on earlier plans. I think that we would be able to decipher, or maybe we could look at when it says in the level of service for municipal reserve, unless these lands fall into one of the other categories, contains a playground, they will be left in their natural condition. What happens if there's, say, for example, an old ice rink or an old backstop for a ball diamond? Would that be considered a playground or park scenario?
Through the chair. So yeah, example, it was just an example of contains a playground. Like that was, so if it falls into any of the other categories, like if there's a sports court, if there's on these municipal reserves, it will be mowed under that. So it's, the playground was just an example of something that could fall on it.
Okay.
It will be mowed, but if there is nothing on it, then we would leave it as is, under this policy.
Okay, so nothing, so if it's just a grassy area that used to be mowed by the county, how would that fit?
Under this policy, we would not be mowing it.
Okay, so that's kind of where I struggle. If we could have done it, we did it before. I don't know why we're having trouble doing it now. And is it just because of the added areas that we're doing that where it's causing issues? Is that the main concern?
I don't, without you identifying which one, we wouldn't, none of us were here when that change happened, so we
Right.
don't know.
So this would be the one, so for example, in Athabasca Acres, or
Okay.
Aspen Ridge Estates, where it was discussed last year and the year before about the noxious weeds, and then they went in and sprayed the noxious weeds, because that one has been brought forward as previous mowing for sure.
That it used to be, and then at some point someone stopped.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm not familiar with them, so I can't help you.
So yeah, so I don't know quite how to cover that one off with regards to having those looked at.
Madam Chair, we could, I mean, I think maybe we need to start. First of all, there's no rush to adopt this.
Okay.
We've been flying by the seat of our pants with zero policy for as long as the county's been operating. Another 6 months isn't going to hurt us. And really, we're locked in for this season under the old rules. So this would really, the change would only be in effect for 27 if there was a change.
Okay.
So we've got some time. So maybe what we need to do is bring back a map showing all the properties that are MRs and ERs that historically have received maintenance and ones that are just wooded and there's little maintenance to do that we could do unless you really wanted us to get aggressive. So maybe there's that is, yeah.
Thank you for the
It's
advice.
kind of more awareness.
Yeah.
And regardless, at the end of the day, we do need a level of service policy. It would protect the county from some liability in the future too. Even, we've got some properties that MRs that we can't ensure that there's never going to be a tree fall down in a windstorm. It's just impossible. We'd have to have a team of arborists inspecting these things every windstorm. Well, if we had a policy saying we'll only respond to complaints, it's just impossible, then that partly covers us, if
Right.
you know what I mean. So regardless of the level service council wants, we do need a policy and we can take our time
Okay,
if you're not comfortable.
that's awesome.
Don't feel like you're put in a corner.
Okay, fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you. Deputy Mintz?
Yeah, I like that idea. As a footnote there, we have been doing that, right? We get an issue like I'm thinking around Baptiste Lake, White Gull subdivision, all of a sudden we have many MRs going down towards the lake and that. We get a dead tree and we have to go and look after it before it falls down. And that's a complaint base. So, and now it's just getting wrote down. So I totally agree with that. The one thing I was going to ask, and I think that's a great idea to get those locations and show council where this is at. But let's say we have a MR that's grass and slowly growing up into trees. Like we used to mow it. We don't anymore. Now it's slowly growing up to trees and it ends up becoming a weed hole, infested with weeds. It is still up to Athabasca County to look after those weeds, right? And either spray them or mow them or something like that. So
Yeah, that's our expectation is
Right.
we still have the responsibilities as a landowner to
Right.
address that.
perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor, oh, please go ahead, Director Morton.
I think one of the things, and none of us were here for why this one has evolved, but I think one of the things to remember is that communities evolve, right? Those subdivisions get created and there's younger families in there with children and stuff, and children grow up and move away. Nobody's using the playgrounds anymore, right? Or the open spaces or the old rinks. Until some of those homes sell and new families come in with younger children. And then all of a sudden it comes back to the forefront as a concern. Whereas for, 10 or 15 years while all the younger children were gone, it wasn't really an issue until, the next wave of children come into the community. So I'm assuming something like that probably happened, but that's what I've seen happen in other communities. But it's just, I think, important to remember that, they change too, right? With growth of children.
No, appreciate that for sure. And yeah, I agree. There are changes and evolving, as you say, families moving in and families moving out. There's also a lot of retirees in a lot of these subdivisions that are also mentioning it. So, yeah. It's a matter of grooming and safety, is their particular concern as well. Please, Councillor Stacey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, I'd like to make the motion that we direct administration to bring back an area map that council can revisit and set some priorities perhaps.
Sure. Should we add it to committee of the whole in July with the other
Sure,
townspeople one?
absolutely.
And then it gives everyone a lot of time. Is that
Yep.
fair? Okay,
We're good with that?
do we have the motion, Miss Leah? Okay, so the motion would be to direct administration to Councillor Stasiak's motion to bring back some information on the municipal reserves as discussed.
Yep.
To the July committee of the whole for further discussion.
If that gives enough time for them. I'm thinking.
Is that fair? Does that give
Does
enough
that give you
time?
enough time or need more time?
Okay.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I guess we'll mention for policy 3246 in that motion.
Yep.
Okay, so related to policy 3246. So we have, everybody's good with it? Are you okay with the motion? Did you want to read it back, Ms. Leah? Please. We kind of pieced it together.
Moved by Counselor Stasiak to direct administration to bring back some information on municipal reserves related to policy 3246 as discussed to the July committee of the whole meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. That's good, Mr. Stasiak.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, if we're ready for that vote, all those in favor? Any opposed? 6-0. Thank you. And my last item on this administrative report is policy 3242. It's an existing policy with some changes for the road maintenance standards. The main change, I guess, would be on page 30 of your agenda package. How is council feeling? Please go ahead, Councillor Chanson.
I just noticed a couple things. I'll just start off with some conversation here. In this policy, just out of curiosity, is it going to be updated? I notice underneath the grid roads and residential roads, it's still saying every 4 years. Is that going to be updated for 3 years? Because we've talked about doing 3-year spreads.
Through the chairs, so sorry, the program is 3 years and that the old verbiage was still in there for 4? Oh,
Um,
you're talking,
Sorry,
oh, for gravel.
yes,
I thought you were talking about mowing.
sorry, my
Sorry.
apologies.
Yes. Sorry, that's,
So I guess that would be on page 28, item 3A for re-graveling,
A 3A and 2A,
3A and 2A. Okay. So we'll change from 4 to 3.
correct. And I'm good for right now. Might have a question in a bit.
Madam Chair, just for explanation, Director Morton didn't go through this entire policy and talk about all road maintenance. He focused only on the mowing aspect, and it was his intent, I believe. We've got it on the schedule to bring back summer road maintenance and winter road maintenance to a future
Yeah.
council meeting.
Oh.
So they only focused on the wording in red.
Okay.
Everything that's in black, we just kept going with the current language. That's all.
Is it okay to make that change though, considering?
yeah. The policy's on the floor, I guess.
So that works or? Yep, okay. And is there any other comments council has regarding the items in red on page 30? I just wanted to confirm the small hamlets for mowing. That's all looked after in is it this policy that it's mentioned? I think it was. So it says the roadside mowing program utilizes, this is on 6A and the bullet points. We don't have to mention the small hamlets here.
Through the chair, it does mention the small hamlets there, along county-owned roads in rural areas, subdivisions, and small hamlets.
Okay, thank you. Missed that totally. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, anybody else? Counselor Chamzik, sorry, and then Deputy Reedmans.
Just have a quick question, just out of curiosity. Is it possible that council's able to see some of those agreements with Alberta Transportation and within our hamlets on the provincial highways?
Agreements for mowing?
Yes, because they would, the provincial provider would also be doing some of that mowing on some of our hamlets on the outside, such as Atmore, right?
I'm not sure why. I'm not aware of an agreement. I guess that's
I
why.
would assume that there would be some sort of agreement or something, like using Atmore as an example, because they would have that 90-foot right away. I just it would be a way that I can ensure that on the inside of Atmore, that it would be taken care of by us or them. If I am wrong, maybe it's less than 90 feet, right?
Okay, through the chair, so the province would have a contract with their roadside mower to mow the designated right of way through Atmore. They're not gonna come onto county-owned property. So anything outside the provincial right of way would be ours. So I'm not aware of an agreement of any sort that exists there.
I just assumed that there would be some sort of agreement. Thank you.
Counselor Chisholm?
Through the chair, just a question. So we're taking out the once a year. Why are we taking that out? Is there any, are we not wanting to do some once a year? Question?
Through the chair, so it says that they will be done, the grid roads and local key roads will get one shoulder cut as well as one full right-of-way mowing. So I believe they've just made it more specific about the type of mowing they're going to do.
And it does mention each season.
I can only find each season with the grid road, so it's in with the farmland and everything else, because
So some of those other roads will only be mowed at the discretion of the county.
thank you.
Okay, Deputy Reed Mins, and then Counselor Stacey.
That kind of feeds right into what I was gonna talk about, farmland access roads as well as residential roads. I can understand residential roads because a lot of times people are doing their own roads and everything. Farmland access roads, so our mowers are gonna go past every farmland access road. We're not gonna be doing farmland access roads anymore unless somebody goes out and looks at them. Is that the nature of this policy?
I don't believe that's the intent. When it says once, that's a restriction. We've been kind of getting more than once, right? On some of them.
I guess the only reason I'm saying that is because if you go by farmland access roads year after year after year, all of a sudden the trees become an issue in the ditch line and all this, and we've spent numerous amount of money, huge amounts of money, even clearing these access roads just due to the fact that to get the farmers in and out of there, and I'd hate to see us allow that to grow back up again. That's what bothers me. It's I think, I know a lot of people think farm access roads are just like once a year, you need to look at them and stuff like that. That's not true. We need to maintain them. And even if it's for mowing, at least there's eyes on it, plus it takes care of the trees. So, you know, that's what scares me about the way this is worded. It sounds like we're gonna be going past farm access roads and not even looking at them unless somebody complains or something like that. That just does not sit well with me.
Through the chair, so I believe with the large roadside mowers we're intending there is because in some of the residential areas, the ditches and such are too vertical. They can't get in there. So that was why they said for suitability and feasibility to be completed safely. And then the other reason is because if it's already been mowed, they're not gonna go over top of it and mow it again. Because lots of them do mow their own areas.
Yeah, I totally understand the residential roads because a lot of them, like I said, yeah, and you explained it exactly. It's just the farm access roads. I don't want to see go through the wayside of not being mowed anymore because trees grow like bad weeds. And if we allow the trees to grow into our farm access roads, pretty soon farmers can't make it down them, and then we got to go in there and brush them. So, you know, and yeah, so then the costs are huge. So I just don't want to see farm access roads be looked at as mowing differently than even a grid road. That's my point.
Thank you. Go ahead, please, Director Morton.
Yeah, through the chair, I agree. Deputy Reeve, it's way cheaper to mow than it is to mulch. So, I don't believe that's the intention, but we can try and clean up that verbiage to make sure that, those are still covered off.
Thank you.
Counselor Stacey.
Thank you, through the chair. I'm having problems finding code number 3240. So can you just give me just a very quick description of what each of those roads, how they're defined, like key local road, grid road, residential road, and so on? Unless you can tell me where I can find 3240 policy.
Yeah, it's on. Sorry, yeah, we can pull that up if you would like.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just a quick, I was having struggles just trying to figure out what defined a key road and what defined a residential road. So if you can just quickly tell me, I'll just write it down, then I don't have to research it.
Yeah, I would have to pull up.
It's
Okay,
in
well,
the
that's fine,
policy,
I'll find it.
Madam
I'll
Chair,
forward the
and
policy.
we'll email it to you.
Yeah.
We'll make sure
That's
all
fine,
the
I'll find
council
it.
gets it. It's on our website.
Okay, thank you.
I'll,
I just thought it
it's
was in
okay,
the
I'll forward it if
this
necessary.
agenda package.
I have it saved already, so I can forward it. Easy peasy to everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So to change, is it easy? Are we able to change the verbiage today, or do you want to bring this policy back? update the verbiage? Should we just bring it back?
Let's bring it back,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
All right. So motion,
Sure, we can bring it back to the committee of the whole with the rest of them. And,
do you need something sooner than July? Nope, good to go. Right, so Deputy Reed Mins would like to move that we forward policy 3242 to committee of the whole in July for further discussion.
Yeah.
Fair? All right, if we're all ready for the motion, all those in favor? Or for the vote, any opposed? Perfect, 6-0. Thanks, guys. All right, I see it's 10:30. Does anybody need a break? Yes, so if we would take 10 minutes, please, if we could come back at 10:40, that'd be great. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. We're back from our recess. We are now at 7.1 of our agenda, page 31 of your package. This is policy 8206, appointments to committees. Where's everybody at? If you don't mind, I'll start. I can't remember why we removed criminal record checks from this, and I'll explain a little bit. The first thing that popped into my mind was members at large sitting on FCSS. We have different functions that are family oriented, et cetera, and I kind of went, that one kind of struck me right away, so I wasn't sure what the purpose was for removing criminal record checks. I noticed, of course, it was specifically mentioned in the administrative report as well as one of the specifically removed from the policy as a requirement for applicants to submit a criminal record check, and the waiting period for former elected officials has been admitted. So yeah, that one concerns me. And I just was wondering how council felt. Councillor Chamsick.
Well, and I think I know. Yeah, well, you think about all the different volunteer opportunities and stuff, using that board or others, even such as libraries and whatnot. With our youth, it is pretty important, I think.
I think so too. So for me, I would like to see a criminal record check be returned for applicants. Go ahead, please, Councillor Chamsick.
On that note, I also have a question on Schedule A, page 41. Just curious what the relevance is for being a firefighter. Number D. Are you a county employee / firefighter? If so, please, if yes, please describe.
I could take a stab at that, because the county employees, firefighters may not quite fit under employee, even though they are paid on call and volunteers. So maybe that's just the two groups that we offer, have on staff. That's my stab at it.
Yep, you're correct. County employees, for sure, full-time county employees should not be on committees. Firefighters are employees, they're paid on call. So I think you're right. That's exactly, is it disqualifying? No, doesn't really say anywhere. Certainly for employees, we should not be on committees other than internal work, joint work site, health and safety, but we shouldn't be representing the county on external committees. Let's put it that way.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, good. Anybody else, Deputy Edmonds?
I guess to maybe get back to the criminal record check. Now, would that fall under the terms of reference or whatever that terms is under FCSS that you need to require that?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we really need a criminal record check to be on the ASB board. Do we?
Madam Chair, I'd have to double check with Mrs. Wood just to ensure that maybe there's something about FCSS. I would suspect not only do you need a criminal record check, but it's called vulnerable sector check, which is a bit of more of an enhanced one for anything involving youth or vulnerable persons. We'd have to look into that. And Ms. Blair passed me a note just saying that she remembers the discussion about this, that right now we don't have anything regarding running for council and criminal record check. And that's why it came up that maybe we should get rid of it, make it the same as a councillor. This was under the Election Act, which was changed. We had an option to require people to provide us a criminal record check as part of their papers to run. And this county elected not to do that. That's all.
And I appreciate that, but I think it's very different being elected from the public than it is one person being discussed as an applicant for a member at large. It's very different in my mind. You're being elected on council from the public. And so you're very much out there and I just find that for a council to make a decision on members at large, we don't have that quite that same deep dive as what a lot of candidates go through in an election. Go ahead, please, Councillor Calhoun.
I'm fine either way, but just for the sake of discussion and being devil's advocate, part of the reason might be when you're on a board, you're in a room with adults. You did mention FCSS does a lot of barbecues and community minded thing, but you're not asking all those community members from outside that are also coming for criminal record checks. It's open to the whole public. And a criminal record check is only good as the day you get it done, in essence, really, right? Because you could go out and do whatever the next day. So just a little comment, maybe that's why the decisions were made.
Thank you, Councillor Stacey.
So if you got a criminal record check and it showed you had a criminal record, does that disqualify you then? Because my concern, and possibly just for information, is that if you had an impaired maybe 20 years ago and you don't drink anymore, you still got a criminal record though. So how does that affect your performance as a member at large? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Just questioning it.
That's why I think that, I mean, if you work directly for SCSS or a school or something, that's why you also get the vulnerable persons check. Might not disqualify you if you had an impaired 7 years ago or stole a candy bar, but the vulnerable persons would be like an offense against a minor or something more serious, is why they get you to do the two, working directly for those entities, right?
Okay. So where's council at? It's something you want to add or not? Councillor Stacey?
Could it be prudent to just check with FCSS and see if it's not in their policy already as terms of reference?
Sure.
It could very well be there. I'm not sure. We did see that a couple of meetings ago. Can't remember what it said, but because otherwise it may not be pertinent to other boards as much as it would be to a youth oriented committee.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just saying.
Councillor Chisholm?
Madam Chair, I do think it should be a part of the criteria to have a criminal record check. And depending on what type that you're applying for volunteer, you probably should have the I can't even say it.
The vulnerable sector.
Yes, and I'm surprised as counselors, we don't need to do it either, so, yeah, that has me
Okay.
in pause.
Yeah, no, understood. So how does council want to handle this one? But going forward, do we want to take the vote and of adding it in and see where it goes? Councillor,
I like what Councillor Stasiak recommended of maybe getting Debbie Wood's input on that and just seeing where they're at with that, since they're sort of the experts of their realm there.
okay, so are we just going to table this item? Are we able to check on that today, do you think, or can we table it to later today, or should we table it to another meeting?
I'll just table it to another meeting,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
So we'll table this item, 8206 appointments to committees, to the May, I don't have the date. Hang on here. May 28th, is it?
No,
May
May 21st.
21st? No, that's
Oh.
committee of the whole. 28th, thank you. So to the May 28th meeting, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Thank you very much. All right, item 7.3, page 65 of your agenda package is Alberta Rural Municipal Administrators Association sponsorship request. And I believe this is for Administrators Association. Is that something for CAOs? Mr. Beck? Oh, there we go.
I haven't handled that one, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, please, Deputy Minns.
Yeah, I just threw this on, just, I wanted to move the recommended motion
Okay,
and that, but I thought it was a little background on it and that, and I think it's a good thing to do. I just want a little background on it, that's all. In public.
thank you. Please go ahead, administration.
Madam Chair and members of council, the Alberta Rural Municipal Administrators Association, they are a provincial organization and it is for CAOs and it's a very good organization. They are hosting, we are the host zone this year, so they were just asking for funding since it is our zone this year. It's an excellent networking training, best practices for our administrative staff, usually senior leadership CAOs.
Awesome, thank you. Counselor Chamsey.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when I read through this, I think it looks like definitely something very important to be involved in.
Awesome, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, Deputy Reed Minns would like to move that council approves the host zone general sponsorship request for $1,000 for ARMAA for their upcoming conference on August 26th and 27th, 2026, with funds to be drawn from the grants to groups budget. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Item 7.5, the Northern Alberta Living Allowance request for participation, page 71 of your agenda package. The recommendation here, of course, from administrative report is that council decides the level of participation. The level of participations are mentioned, I'll get to them on page, thank you, on page 87. The three levels are endorsement, which means our organization supports continued provincial consideration of a Northern Alberta Living Allowance and aligns with the shared advocacy intent. The next one is active participation. Our organization is willing to participate in coordinated advocacy efforts, for example, letters, meetings, communications, or resolutions as appropriate. And the information, the last level is information and ongoing engagement. Our organization wishes to remain informed and engaged as discussions progress. That's the one I'm in favor of, but go ahead, Deputy Reed Minns.
That's, yeah, exactly. That's the one I would probably go with, would be information and ongoing engagement and that, and just see where this goes. We don't even know the line for the northern Alberta Living Allowance line, where it's actually at. We know it used to be just north of Athabasca, but I have no idea where it's at now, so.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Johnson?
That's where I was at too.
Okay, information and ongoing. Did you want to put a motion through? Deputy Reed Minns would like to move that council goes forward with the level of participation as information and ongoing engagement. Is that satisfactory? That's okay?
One question, does that put work onto administration to do anything
Yeah,
with it?
there's minimal impact.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Is everybody satisfied with that? We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? 6-0, thank you. Item 7.6, page 88 of your agenda package. This is the Homestead School signage update. We received some information here from previous Reeve Armvelt with regards to the progress that they're making with regards to the Homestead School signages that they've been placing around the county. It is, I know we approved this back in 2022 as an excellent project that they've taken on to identify all of our old homestead schools and place the signages in place. And I've seen a lot of them, and I think it's absolutely been fantastic. And it's almost like a little bit of a tourism aspect as well that we can bring, because people going looking for them and going through our community. And I just think it's been an excellent initiative. But go ahead, please, Councillor Chamsey.
That's exactly where I was gonna go. Actually, I have twice seen people stop at different signage locations of old school signs, and I think it is. And I know that there was talk about even doing some geocaching and stuff like that on some sort of app or whatever, just to get some of that promotion as well. I'm more than willing to do the recommended motion as well.
Okay, Thank you. Anyone else? Counselor or Deputy Reed Mills, pardon me?
Yeah, I'd like to thank him for sending that information in and also thanking administration for putting it on the agenda just due to the fact for our new council members to understand or to get information regarding this whole initiative has been done by private funding. It hasn't cost the county anything. It hasn't cost the school side, the Aspen View schools, anything, it's been funded and it's moving. I also have seen these signs up and everything, and they're very nice looking signs. So there is one sign out west in Division 8 that they're looking at trying to get up, and they might need a little bit of help from Athabasca County, but I think that's olive branch has been sent out there. So yeah, it's just a lot of information that's very important for you guys to understand. If you see these signs out there, they stand out. And they look really nice.
Thank you. Go ahead, please, Counselor Stacia.
Just like to mention, I bought one of those signs. When Larry Spears was on council, he came about our area because there's several in our area. And the people that own the farmland were asked to sponsor them. And so I sponsored mine. I've got a quarter of land that had the school on it, and I wore the school out, by the way.
That's awesome. And actually, I did receive a phone call yesterday from Alice Wallace, and of course, she's very excited as well and invested in this project and looking to have some more signs installed here as well, and was curious about one call. So I, of course, directed her to administration. And so it's just nice to see this project happening and that the community has taken this on, and the historical value that we have in this county is just priceless. Go ahead, please.
Thank you through the chair. Just, is there a map available that people can see where they all are?
As a matter of fact, they're working on a website. So they will be hopefully looking at launching that. I don't know a date, but they're definitely putting something together so that they can get it out more to the public and get that information out. Yeah, that's what I understand. So it's an excellent project, and we really appreciate what they're doing to make that happen. And so I guess it would be Councillor Chamzik's motion just to receive this update for information. And if everybody's ready for that vote, all those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, 6-0. And we're moving on to item 7.8, the 2025 surplus allocation. This was the recommendation here is that County Council allocate the 2025 surplus of 1,776,626 to the 2026 emergency road repairs, and that the 2026 budget be amended by adding the 1,776,626 to lines, the GL codes listed here to transfer from reserves and to contract services emergency road repair. So is there discussion? Please, Deputy Reed Mills.
I was just wondering, that's a lot of money that we're putting out there with, and it's on emergency road management and stuff like that, and emergencies that need to take place. But are we going to have any background of where the money's going?
Madam Chair, we're happy to bring forward an item. We've actually documented every repair location and tried to assign a budget to it. We've got photos before and after, and we've already just started them. We're just using existing budgets, but we can bring ahead something for council so you're aware of all the things that we came across, and because it's pretty shocking. Some divisions weren't touched as much as others, but some were completely hammered. So we do have a map. We've got a data sheet for every repair and a budget, and we're happy to share that with council somehow. We're still working on it. And the reason we needed to do it was so that we could apply for disaster relief for whatever we think qualifies. And that's one thing that Director Morton has been going through these last couple of days, is trying to which ones would you consider normal springtime events? Like every spring, we have some bad roads and some culverts blow out. Some of them are, so he's trying to weed out the ones that probably wouldn't pass the disaster threshold. But we have a lot of damage. So we do have a catalog and we'll share it with council.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. And like you say, it is quite shocking when we go around and have a look at some of these areas. It is shocking. I think you've identified in the last update over 130 roads and that was growing. So
Yeah, it's well over 200.
yeah, that's what I thought. It's it's a big job. So I'm glad that there is an opportunity to allocate funding for it that we didn't originally budget for. So is anyone would like to further discussion here? Please go ahead, Director Dow.
Through Chair, I just want to make one comment. The contract services, A6 that you see there is all emergency road repair. So for right now, until we got the specific breakdown, I just want to move it in contract services, but there'll be like gravel, materials and supplies, et cetera. Like, so there will be a specific breakout of all this, not just contract services. So like when council sees the full details of it, they'll see how it's split. But for sake of not knowing the exact cost, where it's all going to go, I'm just going to put it in contract service. So I just want to make that point. When you do see it, it will be broken out by exactly like purchase of gravel, material supplies, that, et cetera. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So they'll just have subcodes?
Yes, Madam Chair, there will be like separate codes like 25, 34, or whatever the specific code is for each one.
Awesome, that's fantastic. That's great. Anybody would like to pass this motion? Okay, Councillor Stasiak would like to move that County Council allocate the 2025 surplus of $1,776,626 to the 2026 emergency road repairs, and that the 2026 budget be amended by adding $1,776,626 to lines 01-30, 320-001930, which is transfer from reserves, and 02-30, 320, A6 2250 contract services emergency road repair GL accounts. We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Awesome. Thank you. 6-0. All right, we move into item 7.10, which is our council timesheets and expenses. I just would like to mention a couple of items here that I noticed, and it's just because it was an older timesheet used, and that's okay. But the page 111 for Miss Chizen, Councillor Chizen, and page 112, the mileage should be 73 cents, not 72 cents. So that'll make some changes to the bottom line. I did add those up. Do we need to provide those amounts, CAO, or do we leave that up to administration to make the changes?
Have we? Yeah, but have you passed the motion accepting them in the past meeting? Was that what we did? Then you just
As amended?
yeah,
As amended?
accept as amended.
Okay. So page 111 and 112, that is the March and April timesheets for Councillor Chizen. The mileage should go from 72 cents to 73 cents. And that same on page 115 for Councillor DeHolick. It would also be the mileage change from 72 cents to 73 cents. And then I just noticed, and I was a bit confused, and unfortunately Councillor Hall is not here, but I noticed on one of the hotel receipts, there was a room charge, assume it's a meal for $37.55, and our meals cap out at 30. So I don't know how that works. And that would have been on the 15th, that's on page 120. And it would be April 15th, where that took place. I noticed, on April 14th, there was, on the timesheet, there were as lunch and dinner, which covers that day. But I'm assuming this would be a supper for the 15th. And I don't know how council feels about Councillor, Callahoo.
I'm just assuming if it's a receipt, like in a room charge, so if I went out for dinner and it was 43.50 and I gave you the receipt, it would still only cover the $30 of that, I'm just assuming,
Yes.
right? So because it's showing on a room charge, I'm assuming he's smart enough to know it's only gonna cover $30 of that.
Okay,
So would we just do like an amended, like we did with Counselor Chisholm's?
okay. So just make an amendment for page 113, Counselor Halls to deduct $7.55. And he's not here, so but again, I'm assuming that that's a meal. Forte is a restaurant within the.
And I mean, I don't want to speak for my colleague who's
Right.
not here, but I mean, he's very well aware of what we get, so I don't foresee an issue with that. It's,
Okay,
that's just my opinion.
Counselor Stasiak, thank you.
Thank you through the chair. Just for curiosity's sake here, I noticed that the rooms changed from one day to the next. Do they have different charges for each day?
Yes, so, we did get an email, if you go back in your emails from Jennifer Kirkpatrick explaining, what happened, to our rooms. If you go back and check, yes, we did have to change rooms while we were there.
Oh, so
And there was an email sent out explaining.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just curious if they charge different amounts for different days, or was it a block package or something happened there? Just curious.
It was because we were in two very different rooms and it was on a resort. So we were actually like in two different hotels. Like we had to move from like one hotel to another, even. It wasn't just a room change within the same building. So there would be a different charge.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Yep. All right, so is there any other further discussion on timesheets? Go ahead, please.
Well, that brings up a question that I have, like if you're gonna charge meals to your room. Would it not be better for you to pay for those meals instead of charging them to your room? Like, what if we wouldn't have caught that? Like honestly, like what? This again, I feel like we're being set up to fail here. Like, because if we wouldn't have caught it, then all of a sudden, then somebody could come back and say, well, why'd you pay me for this when you won't pay me for that? Like, I don't know, I don't know, that just drives me nuts. It's, you're gonna buy a meal, buy a bloody meal and charge and pay for it. And that way if the county's paying for the rooms and that, then it's not going to get put onto the check. Like, enough already. This just set up to fail.
Would you like to put a motion through then that,
I'd like to put a motion through that we do no longer charge meals to our room charges. And I don't, just that point blank. We
Okay.
do not. We
All
do
right.
not charge meals to room
to
charges.
hotel rooms?
Yeah.
To your hotel room. Okay, so we'll put that motion out there on the floor now. Deputy Minns would like to move that counselors are no longer able to, or the counselors, how should we put that? Counselors shall not make meal charges to their hotel rooms
Right.
on the county card.
And just as an option, throwing it out there, I don't remember where we were. I did make a room charge, but I asked them to keep it separate and told them that like I'd pay with my card on my way out. So they just kept it separate from whatever card the room was like booked with the county, and they were actually able to do that
Oh, that's
for
fantastic.
me. So there
Easy
is
peasy.
an option to do that people might have just not been aware of.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so on that motion, Leah, did you get that one? Okay. Do you need it written back, read back? My goodness. All right, on that motion, all those in favor? And opposed? Counselor Calhoun? You're for or opposed? For? Okay, so 6-0 on that. And then on the motion to, sure.
Counselor Hall must be watching. He said that we can just cancel that. He goes, that would have been a mistake and an error. He goes, I don't even remember ordering. He doesn't remember even ordering a meal except breakfast. And he goes, I usually put that on my own card. So he said we can even just get rid of the. He said that would have been a goof up. I thought I put that on my own card. I'm happy to pay it back. Or we can just leave it at the $30 as amended, but
Well, I think if we just deduct the 755 for the
yeah,
next.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I think
Okay.
that's it.
So yeah, he apologizes. That would have just been a mistake on his end. He did not intentionally do that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a, yeah. Okay,
Sorry about that. I know.
that's okay. It's just, yeah, we'll sort this out. So, on the timesheets, do we have a motion to receive the timesheets as amended and discussed? Okay, Counselor Callahan would like to receive the timesheets. I guess approve. We should be actually approving these. The Counselor Callahan would like to approve the timesheets as discussed and amended. All right, if we're all ready for the vote, all those in favor? And no opposed, 6-0, thank you. 7-11, Alberta Rural Health Week. This is on page 123 of your agenda package. I'll just start this because this is something that I had brought forward. When we saw it, it would also belong to a couple of other items. We have a policy, 6805, proclamations of special days. And in the policy, it was from 1999. So it's a little old. We should be updating it anyway. But it seemed to me that the main concern here is, and I'll just read it, it's a very quick policy. The background is that Council of Athabasca County receives a significant number of requests to issue proclamations designating special days or weeks in support of a variety of causes. Placing ads in newspapers at taxpayer expense to proclaim a wide variety of special days is not seen as a reasonable action by County Council. So the policy then goes on to say Athabasca County Council will not proclaim any special days, weeks, or time periods for any reason. Administration shall respond to any such inquiries by declining to make any such proclamations. So it seemed to me in 1999, the biggest concern was the expense of putting an ad in the newspaper. We have a whole lot of different digital age now where, you know, we would be able to place a proclamation or a declaration, actually. This is more suitable as a declaration. On our social media or our website and or both. And for me, we have the huge celebration and recognition for Rural Health Week where we offer a barbecue in the summer for our first responders and our healthcare workers, if I'm not mistaken. We have upcoming here June 1st to June 7th. We have Seniors Week, which we did declare last year. However, due to some reconsideration motions, it didn't make it where we could actually announce it, but we did approve to declare it. We had Firefighter Appreciation Week, which I feel bad that I missed, April 19th to the 25th. And so I would like to put a shout out there to our firefighters, how much we appreciate all of them for all that they do. But I'm thinking that this policy should be updated so that we are able to actually declare some of the, you know, important people that we have in our communities, our firefighters, our seniors, as well as our healthcare workers, and just wanted to see where the rest of council sat. Deputy Reed Mintz.
Yeah, I think maybe we should revisit this policy and maybe there's some wording there or something like that that we can do to be able to move the special days forward like other municipalities do and that and I really believe that looking at the policy, like you said, 1999. Yeah, it's 2026. Maybe we should be looking at this policy and maybe administration could come back with a couple of samples of what looks good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Would you like to add that we go outside the current policy and we do a seniors and the healthcare, is it the rural healthcare professionals? Trying to find the name of it, Alberta Rural Health Week. To proclaim a template, there's a proclamation template of healthcare professionals.
Yep.
And that
They're
will be
very
from May
important.
25th to the 29th.
Yep. They're very important. It's a very important bunch of people who seem to be talking about healthcare quite often, so, so to proclaim to them, sure, you
Okay.
betcha, I'll move that.
So a motion to proclaim Alberta Rural Health Week, May 25th to 29th. Can we add the seniors
Yep.
week? Seniors Week, June 1st, June 7th, and further to bring policy. Oh,
Jeez.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for that. Okay, Deputy Reed Mins, I apologize, would like to proclaim, we'll go outside policy, what is it? It's 32 or 6805.
6805.
And to proclaim Alberta Rural Health Week, May 25th to 29th, Seniors Week, June 1st through June 7th, and to bring policy 6805 to a committee of the whole meeting, a future committee of the whole meeting for revision. Does that work? Okay, everybody's ready for that vote. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? 6-0. Awesome. Okay, moving right along. We are at 8.1 of your agenda package, which is the community event calendars for May and June, page 129 and 130 of your agenda package. Who would like to start? Councillor Calhoun.
So I only have one and it's a bit of late notice, but weather permitting, if we don't get the winds and all the rain we're expecting, it is Riverside cleanup tonight. Show up anytime between 5 and 6 and you will also be very well fed.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Chamsick.
On May 19th, Grassland School has their community turkey trot. 8K walk, and of course, doing the same things that community does. They get the fire department, RCMP, and a good old fashioned weenie roast as well.
Awesome, what time, sorry?
I would have to double check at the time, but I believe they're leaving at 10.
10, okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion to receive the event calendars, community event? Councillor Cal, who would like to receive the community event calendars as amended? All those in favor? Any opposed? 6-0, thank you. 8.2 is the councillor meeting calendars, page 131. This is for May and June, so page 131, 132. I'll just start. We have a community transportation meeting tomorrow on the 15th at 11 a.m. And we have a tentative Athabasca Landing Trail meeting on June 26th. Anybody else? Councillor Calhoun, then Councillor Chissen.
Yeah, I just have one. June 8th is the next FCSS meeting at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Chissen.
I have two. So on May 19th, that's the Boyle Public Library meeting at 7 p.m. And then on May 25th, we also have at 10:30, the regional health meeting at the town of Athabasca.
Okay, and that's at 10:30, you said?
Yes,
Thank you.
10:30.
All right, anybody else? Deputy Mins.
June 12th and 13th, there's an AGM, Athabasca Watershed Council is having an AGM up in Port McMurray. The AGM is actually on the 13th, but there is a tour of Suncor
Oh, cool.
on the 12th that they're arranging and everything, so it's built into the AGM meeting, so.
Awesome.
So myself and I think Councillor Chamsick wants to enter into that. So once I get the particulars more on that, I'll talk to Ms. Blair there and get that figured out. But yeah, looking forward to that meeting there.
Awesome. Okay, and Councillor Stacey.
17th of June is the Community Futures AGM. Westlock.
Okay, do you have a time?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I'll have to find out.
all right. Anybody else? You're good. Motion, Councillor Chamsick would like to move that we receive the councillor meeting calendars as amended. All those in favor? And opposed? 6-0. Okay, thank you. Awesome. moving right along, we have now, I don't know if, does anybody need a break?
Madam Chair, sorry, we should have asked you about the meeting with Summer Village of Mawatha Beach that
Oh.
we sent an email about.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I missed it.
No, that's okay. We had sent out an email that they said they're available certain times and dates. May 19th to 29th, I guess, various dates through there, or June 15th to 26th to meet virtually, 6:30 PM.
June seems to be not as packed as May. How does everybody feel about the 16th? Is the 16th is one of the dates we can
Yep.
look
The
at?
16th, 1/6, yeah.
6:30?
Yep.
Okay. June 16th, 6:30. Does that work for folks? Yep. Okay, there you go. Summer Village and Mawatha. Yep.
Good. Thank you.
It's I believe there's Zoom.
Yeah, it'll just be a virtual meeting.
And that's at 6:30, June 16th. Sorry about that, folks. So do we need to? Do we just add that to the motion as amended that we already voted on? We're good?
No, we'll just add it in the next calendar that comes up and that'll be official.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. All right, so I believe we are up to our closed session items. Counselor Chamsick would like to make the motion to go into closed. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? None. Thank you very much. Fantastic, that's passed. I believe we are up and running. We're good to go. Thank you very much. We're coming out of close. We have a few motions to make. Item 12.1, Councillor Callahan would like to move that Lot 2 PLU Block 10 Plan 9123328 be declared as surplus. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? Thank you. There's no opposed, 6 no. The second motion for item 12.1 is from Councillor Callahan, who would like to move that administration proceeds with option 1 as discussed and closed. All those in favor? And no opposed, 6 no. Thank you. 12.2, we have a motion here that Deputy Reed Minns would like to move that council authorizes Athabasca County's continued participation in the Borderlands Emergency Management Mutual Aid Agreement. We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? No opposed, 6 and 0. Thank you. 12.3, Councillor Stasiak would like to move that council authorize entering into an interim agreement with the town of Athabasca regarding the water line project. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? Any opposed? 6 no, thank you. 12.4, Councillor Chizen would like to move that county council authorize administration to attend a water commission meeting in closed session regarding truck fill and water line issues. We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? And no opposed. Thank you. And the final one is from 12.5. Councillor Chamzik would like to move that administration would like to direct administration to organize a meeting with the Golden Age Club in Rochester. We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? No opposed. Thank you very much. And we can adjourn this meeting at 12:22, I guess. I don't know. 12:22. Thank you very much.